into the Army in 1969.
That's a long time ago, yeah.
And you've kind of got the two almost like warriors in the crowd ahead of me, because Potsy was Second World War, and Chris did Bosnia, Afghanistan. I did strictly Cold War stuff. I never heard a shot fired in anger. I was in some bad situations, but it was nothing compared to what these two have gone through.
Question is, how did your journey begin and what caused you to join?
Well, back in '69, we still had grade 13. And I had graduated grade 12, and I was in grade 13, and I was a slackard. There's no two ways about it. And I'd slept through my chemistry exam, and I was failing my mathematics. We had Math A and Math B, and Math B with calculus and stuff like that. Couldn't figure that out at all. So, come Christmas time, I got my report card, and it said, "You are not going to pass this year. No matter how hard you try, you are not going to pass this year." So, I didn't really know what to do with myself. So, I went down, I joined the forces. At the time it was a combined armed force, so everybody wore the green uniforms, I thought. And the thing was, they give you a battery of tests. You're down there for a week, taking physical tests, mental examinations, all the other good stuff. And they figured that I had the ability to be a mechanic. And so, normally when you get in, they offer you infantry, artillery, what they call combat arms. With me, they didn't offer me that at all. They offered me all sorts of tech trades. And so I became a weapon technician, land, and I specialized in heavy weapons. I fixed the artillery pieces, the tanks, the armored cars, and stuff like that.
Alright, so Mr. Bodenheimer, what are some of your earliest memories from joining and working in wherever you were placed as the...
I was laughing at that because the first memory I had was the tear gas hut. And what you had to do in basic training, what you have to do is you go into a house or into a room, about this size here, a bit bigger, and it's just full of CS tear gas. And you have a gas mask on. Now, I was a bit of a smart aleck when I was younger. I still am, actually. And one of my corporals had said, "Don't worry, guys, I got more time in the gas hut. You guys got time in." And I said, "You bragging or complaining, Corporal?" "Oh, shouldn't have done that." So he goes over the door, knocks on the door, says, "When Private Bodenheimer gets in, ask him some more stuff." So what you do is you go in, and you check to make sure your mask seals are all proper. And then you have to take your mask off, and your whole room's full of CS gas. Now, if you have a cold, this is the best thing. This has got Buckley's beat, hands down. It will clean your sinuses right out of your system. So I'm in there, and normally they say, what company you in? Or what platoon you in, or something like this, something stupid like this. And then they let you out. Bodenheimer, right, yeah. What's your social security number? And at the time, the regimental number was your social security number. And do you guys know your social security numbers?
No.
Okay, well, you got your eyes just pouring, and your nose is just running, and you're reaching into your top pocket to find your ID card because you don't know what it is either. And you're trying to look for the tear gas, this little card, and try not to breathe too heavy. And I gave him my number, and he said, "Okay, you can go out now." Oh, Lord. And like I said, it sounds gross, but you are snot. Your nose has just run everywhere. Your eyes are just screaming. It's a hoot. But that was the first memory I have of basic training.
You've told us a little bit about yourself and your earliest memories. What was one of the most important lessons that has stayed throughout your journey and that you still remember?
To do the best job you can. Now, I had one of the few trades in the armed forces where I could go to jail if I screwed up what I was doing. I'm working with an M109, which is a 155 millimeter howitzer. Now, 155 millimeters is about 6.5 inches around, and each round weighs 100 pounds. And the impact, you've got to picture this. If one round lands in the center field of a football field, at the center field of the football field, everybody on that football field is dead. It has a kill radius of 50 meters.
Oh my God.
Now, I am responsible for this gun putting that round exactly where it's supposed to be. It can fire around 25 miles. This is how much of a charge these things have. If the breech block, if I have not assembled the breech block properly, the gun can blow up. If I have not aligned the sights properly, the round is not going to land up where it's supposed to be. And I can go to jail for that. So it taught you to be very meticulous, very careful, and take absolute care of what you're doing.
All right, so what were some of the more challenging parts of your experience?
Staying awake. I was a weapons tech, and I was attached to the artillery, and my job was to fix the guns. Now, I used to ride in what they call an armored recovery vehicle, which is a tow truck, but it's on tracks, it's 27 tons. And what would happen was the guns would move, and we'd move with the guns. And then we'd stop, and they'd say, cam up. So you put all your cam nets up and all the other good stuff up. And then you just get it done. They say, okay, prepare to move. So you have to take it all down again. And you would go, in a 24-hour period, if you got 2 hours sleep, you were lucky. And you'd spot off with the driver because the driver couldn't drive that long. And it was just staying awake, it was really hard.
So, Mr. Bodenheimer, you've earned a lot of respect throughout the years, and so what is one thing that you are the most proud of from obviously 1969 to now?
I've lost a lot of my prejudice. See, what you gotta remember is in 1969, I had never met a black man before. If you look at my high school pictures, there might have been 2 Orientals. And quite a few of them were misplaced Japanese who were displaced during the Second War and were moved into the interior because we did the same thing as the Americans did. We brought all the Japanese off the coast and put them in internment camps. And a couple of them wound up in Ontario. And so there's maybe two Orientals, and 90% of the population was white. And I learned to accept people for what they are, not what color they are, or not what religion they are. Because that was the one thing the Army taught you, is there is no black, there is no brown, there is no white. Everybody is green.
So what is one lesson that you'd like to share with the younger generation, so people of our age, that you feel like is quite important for us to be aware of?
no freedom is free, ever. The fact that two girls can go to school with guys, the fact that no matter what your religion, you can all go to the same school or you can go to separate schools. All these freedoms, you can go to church or synagogue or temple or whatever, or a mosque, and not normally, I have to say normally because it hasn't happened, you don't normally have to fear going to church on your holy day. These freedoms were all brought to you by the veterans. Yes, the government passed the laws, but we gave the government the stability to pass these laws. And it has come in where we had to in Quebec. We went in, I don't know if you've ever heard of the October crisis.
I've heard of it.
Well, the Quebec people, some of the Quebec people were trying to rebel and pull Quebec out of Canada. And they moved the army in to maintain peace. So everything, the fact that you walk down the street at nights is thanks to a veteran.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing I would like to get the young people to understand, is nothing, no freedom is free. You get a little bit involved or a little bit carried away maybe,
It's okay.
That's fine.
because I feel so strongly about this kind of stuff.
And we're grateful that
Yeah.
you are so like passionate about it that we get to
That's
get
the word I was looking for.
we get to know so much about it ourselves. Okay, so our next question is, we want you to tell us about some of the special people you've met throughout your journey, obviously from 1969 to now, and whether they were with you throughout your job or after, and are you
Are
still
you
in
still in
touch with
contact
them?
with them?
Well, one of the problems I had as a weapons tech land was we had perhaps the smallest trade in the armed forces. Out of 70,000 members of the forces, maybe 200 of us were weapons techs. And so when I got out, a lot of them have died. But yeah, there's a friend of mine that I knew. My first army posting was CFB Shiloh in Manitoba. I was just outside of Brandon, West Winnipeg. And there was a guy there named Ben Manning. And I was attached to artillery, he was attached to the base. And we're on Facebook a lot because he's out in BC now. But we have that Shiloh experience in common. And then I've got another buddy on the East Coast in New Brunswick, who, when I was attached to the artillery in Germany, he was a gunner with the artillery. And then he switched trades, but he's on the East Coast, and we talk about that. And then I've got a lady up in Newfoundland, who I ran across occasionally at the school. Like I would take my trade level 5 course, or she'd be on her 5 course, and I'd be on a trade specialty course. So we contact each other that way, but I don't have that much or that many dealings with the former people that I dealt with.
How did this whole experience, how does it still affect your life today, like every day? How does it impact you?
On a positive way.
I'm a better man for it. When I was in, if you'd come up and say, Dave, can I borrow $5? Then I give you $5, I'd expect it back. But as it got along, it was, okay, I can afford to give you $20 and never see you again. I'll give you the $20. If you give it back to me, I'll give you $20 later on sometime if you need it. But if you don't give it back to me, I just won't give you any more money. But I'll always give you the money in the first place. And I found that people, the Army gave me so much self-worth that I don't worry about what people think of me or say about me, because I know who I am. Inside, I know who I am. And you can make almost any slur you want, and it won't affect me, because I know who I am.
Okay, so to wrap up the interview, are there any final comments you would like to tell younger generations who might be interested in joining a job like yours, or just, I guess, young adults like us who would like to get to know more about what it was really like?
Okay, if you don't know what you want to be, like a lot of people, they finish at grade 12, they don't know what they want to be, and so they spend their money and their time and their parents' money going to university. We need more hands-on people. Like for every engineer, there has got to be 5 mechanics or 10 mechanics to make what he thought of work. So for every engineer that the university are bringing out, we need 5 people to go into the trades, into the apprenticeships. So don't take university as the end game. Think about, if you graduate with a Bachelor of Arts in basket weaving, what are you going to do with that? You've just spent $30,000, $40,000 on something that you cannot do. There are no basket weavers in the world anymore. So aim for your own stars. They might not be the university stars. There's a meme on Facebook where the one is the young girl goes in and she gets a liberal arts degree and she's $50,000 in debt and she can't pay her bills. And she thinks anybody who works with their hands is grubby. The other picture is a guy who took an apprenticeship as a linesman, and he works for the hydro company. He's making $50,000 a year or $70,000 a year, and he's about to cut her power off because she can't pay her bills. He got a job that he could do. And this is the best thing ever happened to me as far as the Army goes, as I went down, and for a week they ran you through every test in the world, and I had no idea I was a mechanic. But they came back and they said, you have all the makings of being a good mechanic. And so they offered me all the mechanics trades. So make your future realistic. Is the thing, is don't, like I said, don't aim for the stars of university. Aim for the stars of what your future holds, not what somebody else thinks your future's hold.
I wanted to say thank you for all your efforts and dedication and all the sacrifices you made to make sure that we were given the freedom that we have today. And we also want to say thank you for giving up your time to speak to us and teach us more about your journey as working as a mechanic.
And you've definitely inspired both of us immensely. Going back home today, we will definitely remember everything you said as you've left such a big impact on both of us.
And I would like to thank you two for taking the effort to come out and ask us these questions, because very few people do. And trying to get like the Board of Education to do things. is almost impossible
Exactly.
because people forget us. Lord, don't start crying for people. Okay.
No, but our whole purpose for this was that we had the opportunity or choice to pick anything that I guess interested us or we had interest in, and we felt like it was most important for us to, I guess, not give back, but spread awareness to like our friends or our other peers who don't know as much as we do.
Yeah.
And I guess having a family who, well, I could say that it runs in my blood.
Yeah.
My grandfather was in the army. My uncle, both my cousins right now, one is in the Navy. And so I guess for both of us, we felt like more than anything, even if this like small interview can make a big impact when we share amongst our peers and our friends, we would feel really happy and grateful that I guess 1 hour spent of speaking with you guys has created such a big impact on everyone else.
Well, that did.
Yeah. So we'd like to thank you so much for taking
So
up your time.
we both accomplished our aims.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.